Coming up on today's Michigan Football Report, we're going to talk the latest news, what's happening over today and Wednesday and a little bit of Tuesday. Just kind of recapping what's happening out there. Give my thoughts briefly on the many moves that have happened in the transfer portal since it opened up on January 2nd. Then we're going to dive deeper and talk about the rumors, who's coming, who's going, what to expect from the rest of this transfer portal period with new head coach Kyle Whittingham. And then little 2026 offseason, right? I think it's an exciting time for Michigan football fans. Frankly, it's probably the most exciting, just like freshness since the spring and January, early of 2015 when Jim Harbaugh came on board and was new head coach of Michigan. Kyle Whittingham, a completely new era of Michigan football. Some news today, though. The number one running back in recruiting 2 years ago, Taylor Tatum, commits to Michigan, right? Went to Oklahoma early on. He wasn't a five-star. It's very rare that the number one running back is not a five-star, but he's like the number 30, 32, 33, 34 player. So like one of the top 3 or 4 ranked 4 stars, close to 5 stars, but hasn't had that great of a career with Oklahoma. Decent freshman year, and then really just didn't play at all as a sophomore. Injuries, and then kind of just fell out of the rotation as the season went on. We will talk about that in just a moment, but do we know what today is, Jack? Do you know what today is, Jack? Do you, the audience, know what today is? It is January 8th. Throw up your 8s. Just throw it up wherever you're watching. The 2-year anniversary of Michigan winning the national championship. It feels like it's been longer than that. But it's been 2 years. So I have got, Jack, you know sometimes guys win rings and they go in the transfer portal. They go to their schools. They go out of college. Sometimes they sell them. And they don't sell them that price. I got my rings on, Jack. I'm not saying who I got these from. I got my my Rose Bowl ring on, my national championship ring on today. I am celebrating January 8th. I'm going to take them off so I don't mess them up. That's some high stuff. My replica trophy. I've got my Michigan football national championship shirt on. If you are still basking in J8, throw up the 8s like today's video, though. Most importantly, I want to know if it means as much to you guys still 2 years later as it does to me. As it does to Jack, we were there in attendance January 8th, 2024. Let's talk about Taylor Tatum now. Let's talk about the guy. Hey, maybe he brings Michigan the national title. Doubtful. He's a depth piece at this point. Was the backup running back as a true freshman at Oklahoma a couple years ago. An Oklahoma team that went 500-ish. And then he gets injured in fall camp this year in 2025 as a true sophomore. And by the time he came back, and you had to really dig into like the Oklahoma community of message boards and Twitter threads, et cetera, to find out like, well, why did he come back for like one game, get one carry, and then never saw him again? So it's kind of like, yeah, he came back, wasn't really fully healthy, was kind of not that great of a blocker is what some Oklahoma fans say, and pass protection. So they're just like, you know what, we're calling the season a wash for you. Don't want to re-injure you, and really you're not fitting what we're doing on offense this year with John Mateer, with a new running system. And so it was like, all right, well, just wait to the season now, and you are going to jump in the transfer portal. So the Michigan room now looks phenomenal if you think about like the guys who are actually still on the roster. Right? As of now, Justice Haynes still on the roster. He was a 5-star in 2023, right? 2023. 5-star, like the number 2 running back. Then you've got Haynes and you've got Tatum, right? There was the number 1 and 3 running backs in 2024, and you've got the number 1 running back in the 2025 class. So the depth of this Michigan football running back room of just recruiting rankings, if Tatum comes back to there and Justice Haynes comes back, is insane. We're going to talk more about what this team looks like coming back in a moment. Turn our eyes towards the portal players and who Michigan feels is they're confident towards as they go from guys we've got coming back to the guys that maybe are coming to join this team from other schools. But a quick word. It's time to challenge the status quo, and Polymarket is now live to help us do so. You can be a part of the revolutionary alternative to sportsbooks with our special invite code. Download Polymarket's new app now via the link that is in the description and comments to unlock exclusive early access and a free $10 in your account with the invite code chat. Polymarket is a prediction marketplace that lets you make trades on the outcomes of sporting events. As you can see here on screen, you can even buy and sell within a game with live trading. Polymarket has the lowest fees ever. You trade against other people, not the platform. You can cash out at any time and react to momentum swings within the game. You are in control. It's legal and available nationwide in all 50 states on their iOS app now. For tonight's Miami versus Ole Miss game, as you can see, Polymarket giving Miami a 60% chance to win this game. I don't know. I think the vibes are on Ole Miss's side. I think their quarterback can run around a little bit. I might go the opposite of that. I might see Ole Miss at 41%. $10 is free, and it's waiting for you. No card, no deposit, nothing. Download the app with our exclusive offer code CHAT at chatsports.com/Polymarket, chatsports.com/Polymarket for exclusive early access and $10 free. That link and promo code is down in the description and comments of today's video. All right, so we're still waiting on Justice Haynes, right? I don't know if this Tatum move means that Haynes is gone to the NFL, whether Tatum is just a true backup piece who wants somebody to pay him $150,000 a year for the next few years to be a third or fourth string running back. But it seemed like the tea leaves are going towards Justice Haynes returning to college, but none of the reports said return to Michigan. So I would feel bummed about this. I wouldn't like it, but I think there's some prevailing thoughts out there that Justice Haynes may actually come back to college football in 2025, six, I should say, not get the draft grade maybe he was hoping for before he got injured of a second round, a third rounder. Maybe he's later than that. He says, okay, I'm going to come back, make myself $1.5 million a year, but not from Michigan because that room is just a little too heavy with talented guys. And he's going to go off to somewhere other school, which I would hate to see because I actually love watching Justice Haynes be part of this Michigan football team. Also, waiting for Jimmy Rolder, right? Jair Hill. So those are kind of like the key players that have not to officially put out either a media report or their own social media post that they are returning, guys that are returning starters, returning impact players, or some of the ones that went into the portal. Other ones, Cole Sullivan, was slated to start linebacker in 2026. Actually played great. I thought he was a really good player. That's a loss. He committed to Oklahoma yesterday. Zeke Berry, starting corner the last couple of years, went into the portal, right back to Michigan. So that's a good one. Andrew Sprague and Jake Guarnera, two redshirt freshmen, started a bunch of games this year. Now, I don't think that Sprague is a guaranteed starting role in the future. So it's really funny. One of these Texas blog boys, message board on 24/7 guys said that Texas has basically put all their eggs in the basket in the transfer portal in getting Andrew Sprague to be, on their offensive line next year. And now they're scrambling the fact that he went down there, did a visit. They thought he was going to commit, end up flipping back to Michigan. So interesting on that front. Bryce Underwood, as we all know, is back, returning for 2026. Jordan Marshall, last night on Wednesday, said he is returning, so that was good to see. I was kind of getting a little nervous on that one. The interesting one was Andrew Marsh. Sloppy Sam put out a couple days ago, and then a couple other ones, CBS Sports, the Detroit Free Press, and others, all followed on the next 3 to 6 hours saying, we have independently confirmed, we have confirmed, our sources say, this, that, the other, that Andrew Marsh is returning to Michigan, but that was like on Monday, Tuesday. It's now Thursday coming up on 6 o'clock Eastern here as we are filming. And there is still no official post from Michigan or from Marsh himself that he is in fact returning. Some speculation out there that Marsh verbally agreed, but then kind of when he got wind of what other guys were making and what Michigan may offer a second or third wide receiver to join him from the transfer portal, he wanted to wait, making sure he's getting his dollars up before somebody comes on the outside and makes more money from him as he finds himself to be the number one wide receiver. So Andrew Marsh, really interesting. If it doesn't happen in the next couple of days, I'm going to start getting nervous because I think he is the one piece, even more important than Bryce Underwood, that Michigan absolutely cannot lose. And it's not just him. You've got to add 1 to 2 impact wide receivers for this team. And Michigan's not doing a great job so far, right? If you look at the top 10, top 15 guys in the transfer portal, most of them have been spoken for, but there has been some movement in the last few days. Some new guys enter the portal, not on the first day, not even pre-portal kind of, enter indications. And we're gonna kind of talk about that. So one player in particular, as we kind of talk about the news, now going to these transfer portal rumors, is Quincy Porter. Now, why is that important? Well, number one, where's he coming from? He's coming from Ohio State. He was the star of their freshman class, incoming recruiting class in 2025, 5-star freshman in the portal after only one season. And if you read the tea leaves on what Ohio State guys are saying, both connected fans and media, it was that with Chris Henry Jr. coming in and Jeremiah Smith being there for next year, he saw himself as maybe the third wide receiver, and they were going to pay him third wide receiver money, which is still probably a lot of money these days. I think guys are making like $400K for the third wide receiver. Samaj Morgan, that's why I had no problem going after him for his poor play, because the $350,000 agreement that he had in NIL wasn't cutting up to it. But Michigan's making him a major priority. They think he has the talent, and he really was an option of a guy Michigan could have got a year ago. It didn't happen. It didn't work out, but could have paired with Bryce Underwood Underwood, when all things were said and done, he committed to Ohio State, right at the last minute, much like Bryce Underwood with Michigan, and got enough run this year to have some film out there. But for whatever reason, Ohio State wasn't willing to put up enough money, it seems, and he's going to look for a payout. I don't think they should pay him much money as Andrew Marsh. They're both freshmen going into the sophomore, and Marsh wildly outplayed him as a true freshman. But if Michigan can land him, that is a big step forward. He is a true playmaker, 6'3", 200. Put him on the opposite side of Marsh, and you get one other guy, either a freshman or one of the guys returning from last year, Kendrick Perkins, and it is going to be such upgraded wide receiver group from Michigan has seen over the last 2 years. Now, Michigan's NIL package is reportedly a 2-year deal for Andrew Marsh. So you go after him. They don't want him going, say, okay, I'm going to come back for 1 year, and then I'm still going to be a thing next year. So overpay him, maybe pay him at the top of the market for wide receivers in college football this year, even though he's probably not a top 5 wide receiver in college football, but pay him like that. But force him to sign a 2-year deal that says, hey, we're not going to renegotiate this next year. You're going to come, you're going to get it around probably $1 million or so per year, but a 2-year, $2 million deal instead of a 1-year, $1 million deal. But there was a lot of buzz, right? The last couple of months that Marsh was not happy with Michigan's offense, was not happy in his role in it, thought he should start early, and even when he was catching a bunch of balls towards the end of the game, didn't like Michigan's offensive game plan. Certainly, if he does actually continue with this program, the offensive staff under Kyle Whittingham has proven otherwise, and the money was good enough that he didn't want to go look for another school to continue his college football play. Now, we are just about, an hour and a half, at least as we're filming this, from the college football playoff semifinal. It is Miami. It is Ole Miss. Comment down below who you got. I think, Jack, unless you were an Oregon fan or an Oregon fan or a Miami fan, or you went there, I got to think the nation's got to be rooting for it to be Ole Miss versus Indiana. You win either way. It's not the big brands, but you got one of the greatest stories in sports history, Indiana's turnaround. And then on the flip side, you've got Ole Miss, who could do it and make a national championship game and maybe win it without their coach, who said he left because he wanted to win a national championship. What a story that would be. I think that would be, one you talk about for generations. I mean, obviously it would be a good game, but it'd be a hell of a storyline. So I'm going to go Ole Miss. I'm going to stick with them. Jack, who do you got? What's your gut? What's your gut telling you?
I think you got to go Ole Miss. Good win for Miami last time. I'm not buying that hype, though. I'm taking Ole Miss.
Yeah, Trinidad Chambliss. He's not going to stand there like a statue like Julian Sainer. He's going to get outside the pocket, run 20 yards back, throw it up, make some plays. I've got Ole Miss. And if they get in a shootout, Miami's offense can't stick with Ole Miss. So if Ole Miss can hold off that great Miami pass rush, I'm going to go Ole Miss 31, Miami 21. That is my score. Give me an M, give me an O. I want to know who you guys are picking in this college football semifinal on Thursday night. Continue rolling, though. I've said this for years. All right, I have said this for maybe a year, let's just say, since Michigan signed Bryce Underwood until he got this massive $12 million deal over 3-4 years to come to Michigan. You have got to optimize these next 2 seasons as if Bryce Underwood is the truth, the second coming of a Cam Newton or a Tim Tebow or an RG, anybody who has just revolutionized college football, Baker Mayfield, whoever. Most recently, Quinn Ewers or Arch Manning, one of these guys that say, hey, this is the best quarterback in the last 2 or 3 years. Many people have said maybe Bryce Underwood, based on his size, his athleticism, his arm strength, maybe that's accuracy, maybe his mechanics, is the best prospect since Trevor Lawrence back in 2018. So the best prospect in 6-7 years. Now, I don't believe that anymore based on what we've seen him from the field, but you could point to some poor coaching, showing more on Instagram and DMing people than actually coaching this quarterback. But you got to go in. You don't pay a guy $12 million to go 9-3, 10-2 out in the first round of playoff. You get a quarterback like that, a generational quarterback. Think back over the history of Michigan football. In the last 30 years, you got Drew Henson, didn't win a national title. You got Chad Henne, didn't win a national title. Ryan Mallett, didn't win a national title. Devin Gardner was kind of, at the end, he wasn't actually a 5-star, but of course didn't win a national title. And then you go forward. You finally do it with JJ, and even so, didn't have the greatest passing game. You've got to optimize. Michigan is sorely missing talent at the wide receiver position, and this has got to happen. If they don't land one of these major, I'm talking about major impact wide receivers, at least one, they need to. I'm not going to be happening. I frankly think that they are wasting some of the $12 million that Michigan's reportedly promised and paid Bryce Underwood for a 3-year commitment to this school. All right, switching topics here. Michigan's coordinators are getting some love. CBS Sports put out their top 10 coordinator hires of the season by Brad Crawford. Jason Beck, Michigan's offensive coordinator, coming over from Utah, number 5 scoring offense, number 6 total offense in America last year. The number 1 coordinator hire, according to CBS Sports. Florida's OC, and then Texas DC, Will Muschamp. We all know him. But then you got down there, number 6, Jay Hill, coming over from BYU, Michigan's new D coordinator. 2 of the top 6 guys in these coordinator rankings coming to your Michigan Wolverines. And notably, Jack, if you see his number 7 there, over Ryan Day's dad, Chip Kelly, his mentor, his former coach. So if that helps you out in having a little solace of a win over Ohio State, I can see that 2 wins over Ohio State right there. That Chip Kelly is number 7 on that list, and Jay Hill is 6, and Beck, of course, is number 1. I'm on Twitter, by the way. If you guys have not followed me, it's at James Yoder. I'll make you this deal. Go comment J8. Comment J8 on any one of my tweets. Let's just say between now and Saturday, give me a J8 on any tweet, reply that. And if I don't follow you, I will follow you back. That is my promise to you guys here on the Michigan Football Report. All right, let's talk about some guys visiting today, tomorrow, this weekend. I like this one. Just entered the transfer portal yesterday, JJ Buchanan. I watched his film, Jack, as we were getting ready to come in here. And I'm not going to say I'm an expert on Utah football last year. I'm certainly not. I was not paying attention to the Utes. They had a great season, 10-2. Other years, they could have been in the college football playoff right now, maybe even continue to play, but they weren't. They lost a game to Texas Tech. They lost a game to BYU, 2 top 10 teams for the majority of the year. This guy is a player. This guy is a potential star for Michigan next season in 2026. 26 receptions, that's got to mean something. 26, 427 yards, 5 touchdowns as a true freshman at Utah. Lines up on the outside as a receiver a lot, lines up in the backfield with hand down blocking. Very versatile. Honestly, reminds me of a Colson Loveland. Reminds me a lot of A.J. Barner even. Like that's 2023, 2022, 24 Michigan tight end room was what's going down with what Barner's doing in the NFL. One of the great tight end rooms in modern college football history. So we'll see a lot of optimism that he entered the portal explicitly to come visit Michigan today and potentially likely commit maybe even by the time you watch this video. How about another Utah guy? Maybe one of the best 2 defenders in the past season. Certainly would have been next year the top or first or second best defender. Edge John Henry Daley really struggled. Kind of got in a few games as a true freshman in 23. Didn't really make an impact in 24. Broke out big time this year. 48 tackles, 11 and a half sacks. 11 and a half sacks in college. That is huge. That's Aiden Hutchinson numbers. That's David Ojabo numbers. 17 and a half tackles for losses. That is something Michigan sorely missed this season. So if he were to commit, but he's looking at a lot of other schools. He's looking at Notre Dame. He's looking at LSU and others. So we'll see if that one shakes out. Not necessarily, I think, as certain as the tight end, JJ Buchanan. Then visiting soon, maybe today, some rumors he might have gone on campus today, but more likely tomorrow or on Saturday, is Rasheem Biles out of Pitt. Redshirted as a freshman in 2023, came out as a redshirt freshman last year, but then in 2025 really took off. Second team All-ACC. The blog boys who rank these things, the on-threes of the world, have him as the number 1 linebacker now in the transfer portal. Tackling machine, 100 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, but he is from Columbus, right? Grew up in Pickerington, one of the great athletic programs in the state of Ohio, 15, 20 minutes from Columbus. Ohio State, Florida, Notre Dame, others. So there's a lot of competition for him, but we'll see how things shake out. Last thing I'm going to talk about, kind of looking forward, transfer portal, but really looking forward to the season is a lot of people are speculating that Michigan should have made a stronger run at Devin Dampier, the Utah quarterback, who, if you watch their bowl game, was in the same time as Michigan, so he probably didn't. He played a hell of a lot better than Bryce Underwood. He came over from New Mexico to Utah with the offensive coordinator, who of course is now at Michigan. And they didn't. They decided not to go with him, and they decided not even to pursue him. He didn't go to the transfer portal. And the people saying that maybe that's a mistake. Maybe Michigan would be better positioned to win next year with him and let Bryce Underwood sit for a year or walk if he were to do that. I'm not saying I agree with that, but that's some speculation out there. What I can say is Michigan knows that it's Bryce or bust. There's not a single other player on this roster that can win a competitive Big Ten football or other game for this school other than Underwood. Michigan is making a strong push. There's a quarterback from the Elon, not Musk, the college. There's Louisville's backup from last year and a couple other ones that are on campus. High-end backup, preferably a guy who started at least a few games. They can have some game feel with him, but somebody they can win with if Bryce gets hurt, has to sit out, or, and some people kind of know some things, or would be bench if it's just not working out with him in the new system that Michigan's going to run, which I think is better suited for him than the last one, but someone who could win games for Michigan if Bryce is not in the field in any capacity that happens. I'm really looking forward to see how that shakes out over the next 7 to 10 days. Remember, today is January 8th. It's the greatest day in the history of the world. I celebrate it almost every day. I've decked out my office as framed jerseys from the game. I've got the program in the game. I've got that. I've got my rings here. I just love it. So like today's video, if you celebrate JA, Jack, you saw the emotion coming out. The best day in the history of my life, and that counts marriage, 2 kids, etc. January 8th, 2024. Like today's video. Go Blue.